Hey there everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I don't want this account to only be like SAT and ACT test prep videos. I also want to obviously give some insight into what I know. So I happen to obviously know the college process really well. So I'm definitely going to be making more videos on college admissions and college essays. And I also want to do some story times as well so you guys can get to know me better and hopefully learn something valuable from all of the lessons that I've personally encountered throughout my years in college and all of the decisions that went into that. So today we are going to be talking about why did I, Jackie, decide to commute to college rather than dorm, because I definitely think the tempting option, what everybody says you should do, is dorm, but there are actually many reasons to commute depending on your personality type, and there are financial considerations as well. So without further ado, let's get into why I decided to commute. Alrighty, so I definitely need to give some background information here because I think it's really important to understand why I made the decisions that I made initially and why those decisions definitely were not correct for me. So I went to a high school I'm referring to, where I would say again, I'm just talking off of what I know, not obviously actual numbers here. I would say that 90 to 95% of students there went to pursue a degree at a 4-year academic institution. So most of the kids were going off to 4-year colleges and universities throughout the country. And I would say of those, 90, 95%, I don't know, maybe 85%, 90% dormed. It was a big thing where I went to school to go out to a rah-rah school, go have fun, go make some friends. That's kind of what was the norm. So I definitely found that was being pushed on me in immense amount. Everybody was assuming I was going to go away. So I'm going to make a complete separate video on this because obviously this warrants a separate video, but I actually did commit to a school where I was going to dorm, and I went there and very quickly meaning the first 24 hours, realized that this was definitely not going to work for me. And I had known that this was a bad decision. I knew when I went to the orientation that this was not right for me, but I kept pushing it to the side. I'm like, no, it will be fine. And it wasn't fine. So I ended up leaving and I decided to commute to school. And as much as people like to say that commuting ruins your college experience, I had the best college experience ever. I wish I would literally sacrifice, I don't even know what, but I would sacrifice quite a lot to relive those college years. So first of all, one big myth is commuting to school is going to ruin your college experience. Definitely not. If you play your cards right, for me, it actually enhanced my college experience tremendously. So I do have a list that I'm reading off of here because I want to make sure that I hit all of the points. So I'm personally a relatively introverted person. Obviously, that might seem a little bit crazy because I like to film videos on YouTube, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. But I'm introverted, not in the sense that I don't like making friends, but I do really enjoy alone time and having a nice space to come back to. I like seeing my family every day. I like seeing my friends. I also like seeing my boyfriend, Josh. So it was a really nice dynamic that I was able to come home every day and see my parents. On the weekends, I was able to go visit my boyfriend Josh at NYU. It wasn't that far of a commute for me to go get to him on the weekends. And I was still able to see my friends at school after classes and also on the weekends. So it was kind of the best of all three worlds, that I got to see everybody who I loved and make the most of that. Another thing about me is I am a really big studier. I mean, obviously, I don't think that should come off as a surprise to anybody here, but I really enjoy studying, and when I study, I go into 100% focus mode. So that means that I cannot handle any outside noise or distractions. I like to be isolated. I don't like to study with others. I like to be isolated and in complete silence. So for me, living at a school probably wasn't going to be the best bet because it's very hard to find something like that. Even in libraries that can still be noisy, or if you have a roommate, that definitely hinders. And knowing that this was essential for my academic success, I did graduate with a 4.0. I was the recipient of many scholarships. So I knew that this was going to be necessary for me to do what I needed to do. So I really do appreciate the fact that commuting gave me the environment, aka my room at home, that I was able to achieve academic success for how it works for me personally. Second of all, financials. So room and board at colleges can get hella expensive. I mean, if you look at the room and board plans at many universities, it's like 14 to 18,000. That's a pretty good range as to how much you're going to spend to live in a 2x4 room. And obviously, like, there are perks that come with it. Like, you get to have a roommate, you get to socialize. But for me, that wasn't something that I wanted. So to pay $14,000 to $18,000 to do that and to eat college food, which wasn't always the best, definitely was a huge financial savings. If you think about that, that would be what? 14, 20, that would be 28, almost $56,000 if you were to do that for all 4 years. So $56,000, if you have that on a loan accruing at 5% interest, that's obviously going to accumulate to a lot of money. And that doesn't even take into account the actual cost of college in terms of the academic portion. So it's a good opportunity to save a lot of money as well. Okay, and what I also want to convey, though, about commuting is I was lucky enough that my university, I mean, obviously traffic elongated my driving, but I would say it was about like 25 to 35 minutes, generally speaking, for me to get to my university. If it's going to be a far commute, like an hour or more, I would really recommend not commuting or finding something closer, because you want to be able to, first of all, have the flexibility to schedule classes. Like, sometimes there's a class that's only offered like on Friday at 8 a.m. So I would have been able to do that pretty easily. But if for you it's like an hour drive, you're not going to want to go all the way there and back just for one class. It's also much harder to socialize when you know, oh my goodness, I have an hour drive home after this, so I don't want to hang out with my friends. Like, let me just get on the road, beat rush hour, whatever it might be. So it's really important that you're close enough to be able to just go there to hang out with people. Like, you don't want it to be a distance that's prohibitory to your ability to engage in academic, extracurricular, or social opportunities with friends. So all in all, basically what I did every day was I went to class, then I would hang out with some friends, grab lunch with them. I would go home, see my parents, and on the weekends, like I said, I would visit my boyfriend Josh, almost of 10 years at this point, at NYU. So do I recommend staying close to your partner just because? Absolutely not. But Josh and I obviously have a really great relationship that's been going on long before college and long after college. So I don't regret my decision at all. I had a fantastic time. We had so much fun in the city every single weekend. Imagine being a 20-year-old in New York City. It is fantastic. The food is awesome. I don't even know. We just had so much to do, so many street fairs and events. So my commuting experience worked for me, my personality type, and it basically fit all of my needs, and it saved me a lot of money as well. So don't be tempted just to go to a 4-year university and dorm there just because everybody says that that's the thing to do, because that is totally not the case at all. You can have a great time commuting as well, just like I did, and I would highly recommend that you consider it if it's something on your radar.